The MSU Stem Building is going to change the campus's physical and educational landscape for decades to come. As a global innovator in STEM education and research, we have a need for new and expanded basic science teaching labs that could grow along with the changes in the way we teach. This highly visible location on campus, next to Spartan Stadium and along the Central Campus Road network, highlights the importance of MSU places on STEM and undergraduate education. Our new lab spaces are flexible and can expand and contract depending on space needs for individual classes using a modular layout. This is the first new teaching and learning focused space constructed on the campus in the last 50 years. And this new building will be home to nearly every first-year student who takes introductory science classes. It stands to reason that a building that will see up to 10,000 students interacting in it each day should reflect MSU's culture of innovation, advancing knowledge, and transforming lives. To mirror those values, we knew that mass timber was the right choice for its structural performance, carbon benefits, and connection to innovation in the forest products sector, one of our state's most valuable economic engines. The result is a building that is beautiful and functional. It welcomes students with warm exposed wood surfaces, large open spans, modern multifunctional lab spaces, and serves as a learning laboratory for an emerging construction technique. We wanted a building where students would walk in and say, "I feel welcomed here, and I'm excited to learn here." I think that this building achieves that aspiration.
To be part of something this special at MSU, my alma mater, and a lot of the team's alma maters, was really an incredible experience. And then to bring mass timber into a project this unique really provided us an opportunity to do something that was so special for the university, for the students, and for all the visitors that are going to see this building for years to come. Some of the really unique things that made this project so special, one of which was the way that the university brought together their team members. MSU is all about culture of teamwork and collaboration, and the way that they brought us together with our design partners through some of the other folks you've heard from today throughout the university to deliver an exceptional project was really something special to be part of. Once the project team was onboarded, the way in which we all worked together to do something very unusual and very kind of extraordinary in the construction industry and the design industry is none of us had been part of a mass timber project, but the university had the courage to bring mass timber to this campus and to this site. And the project team sort of had the guts to go along with it, to research what it would take to do that, to go and see other projects and learn from those projects, and then to bring in trade partners and help build out the absolute most extraordinary project team we could possibly assemble for this project.
So when we first got word that we would be designing our own STEM facility, we were pretty excited, right? You know, what a great opportunity. The team had a lot of big ideas. From the onset, we wanted to make this place special. We wanted to make it a place that people would remember and talk about and tell others about. And we had a lot of ideas, big ideas for making that happen. But you know, sometimes when you dream big, there's apprehension that those dreams are not going to be realized. But fortunately, the leadership at MSU bought in to doing some things that are not traditional. And for an institution, that's a big deal, right? So we looked at a couple sites. One site was relatively flat and square next to another square building. It was the easy choice. It was adjacent to some other faculty offices that would utilize this facility. But we took the more difficult route and chose this site. And we chose this site because of the impact it would have to campus. It's highly visible on game day with 75,000 spectators coming through on a football Saturday. Hopefully that'll happen again someday soon, right? On the center of the gateway to the academic side of campus, on heavily traveled vehicular routes, pedestrian routes, connects green spaces. It's a hub of future redevelopment. And last but not least, it gave us a chance to finally do something with the Charlene power plant site, which we were all pretty geeked about. This power plant was built in the 40s. It was abandoned and it provided steam and electricity to the entire campus. It was abandoned in the 70s, and it's kind of sat here as a cast iron tomb ever since. We've looked at this site, but it's always been too cost prohibitive because of the material contained inside and things. But as we slowly picked at that over the years, it's become more feasible. From the onset, this building was not part of the project, as we were just going to utilize the site and our building was going to relate to this building. But the leadership at MSU made the decision that now was the appropriate time to advance this program to correlate with the STEM design. That was a big challenge, but the team embraced that, and I'm glad they did. Building on a flat, level site, relatively commonplace, but I truly believe that design constraints are what leads to design innovation, and that's what's happening here.
Trees like the one behind me and forests provide so many benefits. They provide clean water, they provide wildlife habitat, they remove CO2 from the atmosphere and help purify the air. So trees also and forests provide economic benefits through wood, which we use to construct mass timber. And this provides a tremendous opportunity to help support local economies and especially rural communities. If you think about the alternatives in constructing a building from steel and concrete, much of that material is imported into the U.S. and doesn't support local jobs. Mass timber gives us the opportunity to continue to enhance manufacturing in the U.S. and to support local jobs. Mitigation of climate change is one of the major benefits of using mass timber, and that makes it attractive for environmental reasons and sustainability. There are really two major pathways where mass timber has a positive impact on mitigating climate change. One is actually in the wood itself. So as trees are growing, they're taking CO2 out of the atmosphere. And in fact, the wood that we see, these are 50% carbon if you just weighed each element in the wood. And that is probably one of the least expensive ways to mitigate climate change and to take carbon out of the atmosphere. But maybe something that's even more important is the avoided emissions of wood as a building material in comparison to concrete and steel. If we look at the building sector currently emits about 39% of all carbon emissions to the atmosphere. And it's about 28% of that is in the operation of buildings. And with a structure like this that has a separate envelope that can be very tight, that could help reduce emissions from heating and cooling and create a very energy efficient building. But more directly to the point is that 11% of CO2 emissions are from the manufacturing of steel and concrete for the building sector. When we use wood, we don't have the same kind of energy intensity and carbon emissions associated with creating these members that you see in this building. Some people are concerned that with mass timber increasing in use, that there will be an impact on the amount of forests and the conservation of forests. Maybe somewhat surprisingly, what we see is that when there is a market for wood, people have greater incentives for keeping their land in forest cover. And there have been a number of studies that have shown that when there are those economic options that can support livelihoods, that people keep their land forested. And that also provides important opportunities to manage land, remove invasive species, protect endangered species. So the economic and environmental really go together here very tightly.